it has affected many of our staff members at various schools, and it has affected several families and friends in our community. So at this moment, if you just take time for this moment of silence. Thank you. Now we'll have the roll call. Ms. Powers.
Sharon Woodall,
Present.
Dr. Sheila Williams is not present. George Archuleta,
Yeah.
Virginia Houston,
Present.
Pam Pereza,
Here.
Rodney Walton, not present. Excuse me. Yeah, and Daniel Spence.
Here.
Thank you.
And board member Virginia Houston, could you offer our ethics awareness statement?
Welcome to the October 17th, 2022 meeting of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Board of Education. It is my duty to remind members of the board that it is our responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it is our duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage our personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board this evening? Let the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
Okay, thank you. And I need a motion from the floor to approve the agenda for today. To approve the agenda for October 17th. A second?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda for today's meeting. And a roll call vote.
Dr. Sheila Williams, not present. George Archuleta,
Yes.
Virginia Houston,
Yes.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton, not present. Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Okay, moving into the agenda. We have a very short agenda today. There is no action to be taken on either one of these items. The first item has to do with the technology surplus. And Ms. Amber Godfrey, who is director of our technology services, is here to answer any questions about those items. We have had an opportunity to look over that because it was emailed to us over the weekend. Does anyone have any questions or concerns that they would like to ask? Okay.
I do have one question. Saw the list, I understand it all. Are we just getting rid of those supplies? What would they do with them? They just destroy them or dispose how they're supposed to?
So it depends on what it is. So we've also reviewed the list for anything that can be repurposed or sold. For instance, iPads, we have a vendor that purchases back from us. And then all the other equipment that cannot be sold or repurposed, we use the county's e-cycle secure program that helps us dispose of those items. And yes, they are cleared before we do anything with them.
So my question was, I know there are organizations out there that take used electronic equipment. Instead of destroying them, can we find an organization that maybe we can donate those items to? Is that possible?
So by the time a device gets to our surplus list, it is unusable. So we have repurposed it and used it to its full extent. It's either not usable anymore because it's completely damaged or can no longer be updated. Or for instance, if it's a Windows device, it no longer receives updates from Windows. So if we've never looked at repurposing them to an organization, it might be something that we could look into. If there were items that might be able to be used that way. Typically there aren't, but
Yeah, I was just thinking of things like that because there's an organization that could use it and help other people. Kind of like the car situation, cars. There's an organization that take a part we think is damaged and absolutely no good. Another organization could take it, sell some parts, help get money for their organization that would help instead of us just destroying the product. Maybe something like that where we can still help it'd be just an extension
Sure.
to somebody else.
Yes, we can certainly look
Just
into
a
it.
thought. I was just wondering if it was, since you said we like them anyway, so.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, didn't you say that you did sell some of them?
We do sell them back to, so there are certain vendors, for instance, that will purchase our iPads that are no longer usable for us, and they use them for parts.
Oh.
So we do
okay.
get some money back for certain devices, depending on what it is.
Okay. I thought they were
No, not for repurposing that way, but they could use them for parts.
We get money for that, or do we get a credit?
We
for-
get a credit,
Okay.
like with the iPads, it's with a certain vendor, and they give us a credit back to our account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that's because, you know, you go out of the country sometime and we look at these other third world countries and they're using devices that are much more older than our stuff is. And maybe they can take some of these old computers and just take the parts to build another computer that is operable for them at their level. And just build another kind of blessing to somebody else that can do it instead of just.
And there could be some devices that could be in working condition. I think one of the challenges, particularly with these Chromebooks, is they're essentially whoever makes them, they run off of Google's operating system. And so to encourage you to buy new Chromebooks, Google will put in a part where they won't update the operating system. So you might have a computer that works in good working condition, it's 5 years old, but it really doesn't work anymore because the software won't update.
Mhm.
So in that regard, it's just kind of an unusable device. But some of these Windows devices, we could take a look at those because they don't have potentially times when they won't update. There might be a handful where we could look
Or
at.
monitors, like for
Right.
old monitors,
Might be
they're
a thing,
VGA
yeah.
monitors that we don't use anymore, so things like
I know
that.
we don't use them. You know what I mean? And it'll be out of date for us, but
Right.
some of these other organizations who maybe have a tutoring program where a computer is a computer for them.
Right.
I mean, we want the fancy 30-inch monitor that's touch screen, but this may be just the older big box, I mean, the heavier LCD, whatever, just.
No, absolutely.
I just
Good point.
Can do that.
nothing major.
Okay.
I just saw them in the one away.
Okay, anything else
That's it.
on the technology surplus report? Ms. Godfrey, do you have anything you want to add?
Mhm.
All right, and we also have, for information, the maintenance report. And Ms. Wilkins, who is our director of maintenance, is here. Does anyone have anything that they want to ask about that report? Or any concerns?
I just see we use contractors on here a lot. I was just wondering, is it a bid or is it just, hey, this is what we use?
It depends on what the contract is for. The HVAC, excuse me, the HVAC, repairs, we are not, trained and licensed to make that type of repairs for those bigger jobs. The one EC middle was a chiller compressor, so that's way out of our scope of work. So,
But I was just wondering, do we offer it as a bid or is it just?
most of the time,
Okay.
I'll reach out to get multiple quotes and go with the lowest. Yes, sir.
Where are we on the paving?
It went before DOT's board last month, and I haven't gotten a status as far as when they would do it, but they said it would be spring, probably summer, before they could even start, because it was so late getting on their agenda. So,
Okay,
but it is in the works, yes, ma'am.
okay. And you are aware of the, turnaround situation that they're talking about out at, Northeastern? You know, okay,
At the intersection.
yeah.
Yes. Are they still going forward with it? I knew it was in the works.
It indicated in the paper that they were, but I didn't know.
I guess down the road. a little bit.
It's down the
Yeah.
road,
2 to 3
but
years out.
you are aware.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So we have a plan on how to, deal with that as we move forward. Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, all right. I am going to call on Board Member Houston to take us into closed session.
Madam Chair, I move that the board go into closed session as allowed by NC General Statutes 143-318.11A6 for the purpose of considering one or more personnel matters that are confidential under North Carolina General Statutes 115C through 320, and as allowed by North Carolina Statute 143 through 318.11A3 to consult with the board attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege and to preserve that privilege. The board will resume open session live stream following the closed session.
I'll second it.
And a motion to go into close and a second by Mr. Archuleta. Okay, and we need a roll call vote for that.
Dr. Sheila Williams, not present. George Archuleta,
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Kim Pereza.
Yes.
Ronnie Walton, not present. Daniel Spitz.
Yes.
Thank you.